Okay, so once again, if you can hear me, please put the letter Y in the question box, and then we'll get started. Okay, very good. Thank you. Um, okay, I'm going to show my screen, and we're just going to go to work here. We're going to roll up our sleeves, and we're going to be working with a PLR package called the Minimalist Lifestyle, and it was released by a PLR creator whose name is Aurelius Chin. And we're going to start with the um, with the front end. And so you're looking at my screen right now, so I'm going to size this up. And we talked about in the first session that what we want to do is we want to tag things. So one of the first things I'm going to do is I'm going to extract this into my computer. And so it's going to take a minute or so here and make sure I've got everything closed that I can close in order to get this process started. Okay, and so while that's happening, um, the logic of this is that we're trying to make sure that we do this at the beginning. So we're really just trying to make sure that we make this findable for us, right? So we're trying to create a findable system for all of the content that we're going to be getting from this particular package. See, it looks like our zip file is okay. So it looks like one of the articles had a title that was too long, so that kind of stopped the process. But we're going to keep going here. And once again, as always, if you have any questions as we go along, feel free to write them in the box. That helps us to strengthen this course. And obviously, if you have Windows or you have a Mac, which you're going to be doing with the unzip file. Now, one thing that you want to take note of, it's a minor thing, but I don't like to just double click the file and then get everything out. And the main reason is that sometimes you'll have, specifically with graphics, they can come out all wrong when you just double click. And sometimes if you think you have a problem with a file, it's typically because they may have not been unzipped. And so you always want to unzip instead of just opening. If you don't have WinZip or the Windows Explorer zip code, you can use a program called WinZip or 7-Zip. And 7-Zip is free. WinZip is free up until the point of a trial. Okay, so we're still extracting here, and it could be extracting slow because we're doing this with a webinar. Okay, all right, so we've got everything here. And when I do this, then what I like to do is we're just going to go ahead and delete this from our drive, right? Because there's no need to keep two of them. So now we've got our information here. And so we've got our ebook. So one of the things that I'm going to do is remember, I want to be able to search this, right? And I want to be able to find everything that's in it one way or the other. And so there are a couple of ways that I can do that. Number one way is that I can do that is I can just tag things, right? And I can create some metadata. So for example, I might take this and then I'm actually going to have to open this. Now there is a program that you can download for free in order to do this, but the most sure way to do this is to edit I think it's the properties. And then we're going to give this a title. I think we've got to edit the title. let's see, this is going to be Adobe. I know not everyone has Adobe Acrobat, and this is Adobe Acrobat Reader anyways. We can't do this with Adobe Acrobat Reader. Um, we're going to have to open this with Adobe Acrobat in order to edit. Now, I recognize that not everybody has Adobe Acrobat, so I am going to actually use the program that I suggested in the original. And so I'm gonna take a minute. I'm gonna pull that up here in a minute. But let's go ahead and just edit the preferences here, or edit our properties. You can get edit. And I don't know if you can edit, let's see, we can add additional metadata. Okay, here we go. And so I'm going to call this, I think I want to call this personal development. If I wanted to just kind of look for it, all the stuff for Aurelius, right? If I want to find all my PLR, I'm going to go ahead and you call this minimalist. And then I'm going to just write in here a description, PLR ebook. And if I wanted to put some keywords in here, I would probably call this, once again, I might just call this personal development. Since I don't work with this niche a lot, that would be all that I would need. Okay, copyright, I'm not going to put that in there, but then that would be what I would want to have as my metadata. Right, so now when I search under any of these terms, I'll be able to find this with this particular PDF. Okay, any questions about that? We talked about that, and what I need to do is, okay, there's file metadata. That's the name of the program. And let's see if we can find it here, if it's still on my hard drive. I think it is the File Association Manager. Okay, it finally opened up here. And so what we're going to do is we're going to find the PDF. And I think we already have this set on our PC, so we should be able to tag this successfully. All right, let's see if I can get this with the File Association Manager. We'll just click Edit. Okay, here we go. Okay, here's the PDF. And what we want to do is we want to do a simple. We want to add in all of these areas where we can add in metadata with the File Association Manager. And then we will then call this, and we will then restart Explorer, and we should now be able to add in the metadata for the PDFs. Okay, so now we'll come back to the PDFs. We'll challenge on the bandwidth here. Okay, so now we have details that you can add. And so one of the things you want to remember about a PDF is that a PDF does not naturally come where you can edit these tags. And so we need to do this with a third-party program, and the name of that third-party program is the one that I just used, which is the File Meta Association Manager. And you're going to be able to find that program at the URL, and I will put this in the resources for the beginning, and I believe it's in the resources for session 1. But this is the URL where you can download this program. Once again, anytime you download something, just make sure you run your virus protection on here. I haven't had a problem, but that doesn't mean that there's not a problem. So please, before you download anything that I suggest that you download, do make sure that you're going through any virus checks on your PC. Right? If you don't feel comfortable with that, then you can always do it with Adobe Acrobat if you have it. Okay. All right, so any questions on editing the metadata so we can tag our stuff? Okay. All right, so to kind of move on, I know we probably spent a little more time there than I wanted to. I'm going to move on to some of the more important things here. And in particular, I want to start by customizing my content. And so I'm going to start with the ebook. And so I'm going to open this up in Microsoft Word. And so I'm going to be using this as my own. And so I may decide that what I want to do is, remember, we want to talk about first, we want to talk about rebranding. So this header, right? We could very well, we could leave this title the way it is, but I would really prefer to use some branding of my own, right? So what I would be putting up there is the PLR show. And then I might put in the minimalist lifestyle. I don't want to change the dimensions. And then I'm going to actually go to do the same thing in the footer. I'm going to want to have something down here where that page number is, and I'm going to want to have my URL. Right? It doesn't even have to be clickable. I just want to make sure it's down there. Now, one of the other things I'm going to want to do is I'm going to want to have read through this book. And what I'm looking for is I'm going to be looking for places where they've got generic information in here where I'm going to need to put in my own, right? And so in this particular case, if I were to give that to my customer, well, that wouldn't be a good thing, because you'll notice here, first name, last name is an entrepreneur living, you know, such and such a place. I'm going to need to just make sure I change this to Charles Harper. And of course, I'm going to have to go through this PDF or this document to make sure that all those things are done. Now, obviously, I can't do that here, but this is something that you're going to have to do, right? And in fact, I would almost just rewrite that whole thing, right, on the topic of PLR. Now, what I'm looking for when I go through this document is I'm looking for areas where I can actually add in my affiliate link, or I can add in products, right? So really more important even than making sure that everything is right is, number one, making sure it's branded. You see I've got PLR show, we've got PLR show all the way through here. I've got a place where they can actually go to my URL if they get curious. I'm looking for areas where I can monetize. So for example, I can take this phrase, minimalist lifestyle, and so maybe what I want to do is I want to look to Amazon. And I'm going to go to Amazon. I'm going to find all the places where I can find books on minimalism, right? Minimalist. I mean, if this is something that you don't want to do, I mean, this is something that you could actually outsource to somebody. You'll notice that I've got my Amazon associates here. And so typically I'm going to be looking for opportunities where I can either find out things that I can send people to a website to buy. Now, one thing that I will tell you about Amazon in particular is that Amazon will not necessarily, Amazon does not like it if you put a PDF link, if you put a link in your PDF. So one thing you're not going to want to do is you're not going to want to put your affiliate link inside of a PDF. They do not like for their program. But what you can do, you can find out about the author and about who has an information product and who is probably going to be the most, let's say the most relevant or the most important. You can find those folks who have information products. So for example, we could go to ClickBank and we could try to find somebody who's got some kind of minimalist, some kind of information product where we can get our affiliate link. Okay, here's somebody that's got something, minimalist exercise. That's probably not quite what we have in mind. Super productivity secrets. That could be, right? That could be something we could do.